This is Carson Owers from the Boston Celtics, and you're listening to the Boiler Breakdown podcast hosted by Tanner Lee, Evan Webb, and Andrew Eiler.
What's up, you guys? Tanner Lee, Evan Webb, and Andrew Eiler is back this week on the Boiler Breakdown podcast. We got an exciting one for you guys. We're going to be talking about some changes to the Purdue football coaching staff, putting a bow on a disappointing Purdue football season, and talking some Boiler hoops. What is going on, guys?
Not too bad. Not much. What's up, D-Tan?
I'm only back for the wins. Sorry.
I like it. Hey, that's okay. If that's what it takes, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm back for a while.
But happy to be here tonight. Off work for the rest of 2020, so ready to do some Boiler podcasting. Since we last talked, like I kind of said in the intro, some big Purdue football news. Bob Diaco, first-year defensive coordinator for Purdue, gone after 1 year.
After six games. Yeah.
6 games, and he gets a $600,000 check to not coach.
Hey, I heard I was texting a friend of mine. He said Bo Pelini might be looking for a job here.
Yeah, LSU might be canning Bo as their defense coordinator. So
hey, he's been paid a lot to not coach by Nebraska for like a decade, it seems like.
I didn't realize he was at LSU. I didn't even think about that.
I totally
Youngstown State this past year to go be their coordinator.
I totally thought he was still at Youngstown, yeah.
I get him and Brett Bielema. I interchange them so often.
Now big old Brett's back in the Big Ten. Woof. I don't think that's I think
that's a terrible hire.
I do too. I think it's pretty lackluster, boring hire, but hey, it converts some guys right back to the Illinois football bandwagon. So
Wisconsin football is pretty boring and lackluster, but they win 9 games every year. I would take boring 9-win run at 300.
That's the thing.
But they rush the ball for like 350 yards every single game.
Yeah, right.
He's not gonna be able to. I don't think he's gonna be able to recruit like he could at Wisconsin to Illinois because he had some big boys up front there, and you're not gonna have those at Illinois. I mean, it's kind of the same boat Purdue's in, where we're kind of.
But why does Wisconsin always get those? Because of just Wisconsin themselves, not the coaches.
I think that Barry Alvarez was able to start originally, and then it snowballed and just became a.
This is a Purdue podcast. Let's get back to Purdue.
Yes, let's do that. But Diaco could join Bielema on his defensive staff in Illinois.
I heard that.
They played together at Iowa. So
wait, is that an actual like a legit conversation?
I don't know. It was a speculation because they played in Iowa together, and there is a connection.
You realize if he goes there, that will be 4 teams he's either played on or coached for in the Big Ten West. Iowa, Nebraska, Purdue.
Diaco.
Yeah, I forgot about Nebraska. Yeah.
Oh, because he played. Okay, yeah.
Played at Iowa, then coached at
Nebraska.
Well, I'd be surprised if that happens. But anyways,
I would be shocked. Yeah.
Were you guys surprised when the news came out that Diaco was canned?
Yeah, I was definitely. I think if you would have told me after the Nebraska game that he was canned, I'd have been like, yeah, absolutely. But I think I had talked myself into, it's a weird season. It was not a normal we didn't have a normal winter, normal spring ball, even normal fall camp wasn't even, what it used to be. And, there's just, a new system, probably guys just weren't accustomed to it, maybe get them another year, another off season, a regular off season to, get the guys figuring out what the hell they're doing out there. And I think I talked myself into like, he'll be here another year just because it's such a weird year. We're not going to fire anybody, it's just, but then of course you see the SEC just, those boosters don't care. They're just canning everybody when they can. So I think at the time I was a little surprised, especially coming a day after signing day.
like 12 hours after Yanni Karlaftis signs.
Yeah, which apparently he knew. So
they all knew. They had to have.
Yeah.
And it sounded like Brahm had been floating the defensive coordinator job. I mean, Diaco probably knew for weeks, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, Purdue hasn't played a game in 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question, because I guess I know we had speculated, there's got to be something. We wonder if there's something going on behind the scenes of either guys not buying in or there's some rift between players or coaches and coaches. But I feel like we never got like true. I mean, I guess the insiders aren't going to say that probably mid-season because of everything would just catch on fire at that point. But I feel like afterwards, like, oh yeah, there was definitely stuff behind the scenes. Like this is like, I feel like this brand new information. All of a sudden, it seems like everybody knew, but maybe I was just up in the dark. I have no idea.
No, I think you're right. I think we were kind of speculating something might be up, but we didn't know. And then they kind of released this information. They're like, yeah, we've known about this.
It kind of came out, though. I feel like the last couple games, there was hints that there was some kind of like, oh, maybe not everybody's bought in. But it was like 5 games into the season. And it was like, okay, where was this 4 months ago? I don't know. I mean, going in, everybody kind of knew Diaco liked a 3-4. I mean, Purdue has Lorenzo Neal at nose tackle and not much after that. And now Lorenzo Neal's gone to most likely the NFL. Mm-hmm. And maybe Brom saw, it didn't work when we had kind of a stereotypical NFL nose tackle, and now we don't.
Yeah.
Okay, now what happens after this? So I was surprised.
I was surprised too. I was with you, Webby. I had all along thought he would get a full year to see what he can do. But I mean, if he was really causing that much rift with the not only players but the staff, from what it seems like, seems like he had to go.
Yeah, you have to at that point.
Did it sound like he's been a head coach? I mean, he was head coach at UConn.
Yep.
A while ago, like 5 years. I don't know. It was a while ago.
He was there for 4 years. I think his last year there, because he became the head coach after Notre Dame made the national championship. So he was there from 13 to like 17, maybe.
Okay.
And then he was Louisiana Tech for 2 years. Okay. So did you get the sense that he just never transitioned from like, I am not the head coach, I am a coordinator, and this is Jeff Brom's show, and that's not my place to, I don't know, dump on or tell people how I feel for the special teams coach or the wide receivers coach or something. I don't know.
Well, we talked about this in the spring when shortly after he was hired, he didn't do a ton of media, but when he did, he was just weird. He was odd. It was like,
I don't remember him doing media. I don't remember him doing
it. Like right at the beginning, like when there was still like before the
go on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's like a 10-minute interview and it's cringeworthy.
Well, you knew that going in though, like he was weird. Like there were quotes coming up though recently of him like talking about games being on Nickelodeon in like 2015. He was talking about that.
Like, why did we hire him? Like,
that's the thing. That's my biggest thing. It's like, we talked about it essentially, just over a year ago of like this hire is going to be huge for Brom. Coming off the year that we had of 4-8, this is going to be the biggest hire of his tenure, and it's like, did you not talk to anybody or like what? like
okay? To be fair,
I know.
Daryl Hazel had a lot of positive references.
He did. But I mean, like, I feel like Hazel wasn't around, but I feel like Diaco has been around. He's been around the block, and then I guess the
fairly successful.
Yeah, I mean, say he was at Notre Dame when obviously that defense was stupid good, which I guess counteracts the bad. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on who you trust, who you ask. It all really depends on.
Just a major whiff. I mean, a bad enough whiff. We're paying him $600,000 during a pandemic, which I know you said, Webby, the SEC boosters, but we're Purdue. We're not.
Yeah.
We're writing them that check during a pandemic. Yeah, we want you gone. Like, now we have to write another check to bring somebody in.
Yeah, and not only that, but Greg Brown too.
Auburn just paid $21 million for Gus Malzahn, who won average 8.5 wins.
Auburn's stupid. They've wanted him gone for years. I mean, the guy got him to a national title and lost to Florida.
Did you read that article off tangent here? The article about how there was a conspiracy to get rid of him years ago. There was some article. I don't know where I saw it. Someone sent an article about there was a conspiracy, like a board member trying to get rid of him. And they were going to hire somebody else, and then it leaked out. So then they had to do a search, and I don't know.
Well, there's something going on there. I've got a friend who's a Tennessee fan, and they're like, there is something going on there too.
They're under investigation for allegations right now.
Yeah, well then they were.
Man, Greg Schiano is probably just ecstatic.
Yeah, so they were supposed to play in a bowl after winning 2 games or something like that. They're supposed to play Liberty.
4-5, I believe.
Yeah, it was instead of Army, which now
play West Virginia in the Liberty Bowl.
Yeah, but now they're not going to because of COVID. But because they weren't banned from a bowl, they still get the bowl revenue. So my friend's that's going to help us buy out probably Pruitt or somebody. I think they're over Pruitt too. But it's just there's a conspiracy that they.
I'd be careful with Pruitt because they were all about him until this year. He had a bad year. He's getting good recruiting classes.
Yeah.
So. I don't know. Tennessee.
They are
so many of those SEC fan bases that are just delusional.
Yeah.
In the Auburn, it's like, okay, Malzahn got you to a championship. He's one of the few guys that can beat Nick Saban once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you going to find that can? I mean, he beat Nick Saban 3 times. It's like,
well, I remember
Tom Allen.
His buyouts $27 million, so
that's insane. That is crazy.
Well, Tanner, talking about Auburn here before we get back on topic. I remember when we were at absolutely
100% B Smith 9 on Periscope. Talk about Tennessee. They live in the 90s. Think Manning's still the QB.
Yes,
they still think Fulmer's their coach and not the AD.
Which even that was like an entire coup that they manufactured a couple years ago when Shiano was hired. Then
that was terrible.
That was a dumpster fire.
They had Mike Leach ready to go. They're ready to sign, and then they said no.
Yeah, but going back to Auburn, I just remember, Tam, when we were in Nashville a couple years ago for the
You're still bringing up this damn game?
I know, Music City Bowl. Hey, the day before was awesome.
Oh, it was. Yeah,
downtown Nashville was
West before Lafayette. The game.
It was West Lafayette South. It was awesome. But I remember, like, seeing Auburn fans at the hotel, or if you saw them out on Broadway, it was like, they were like, oh, they were top 10 start the year, and then now they're playing a 6-6 Big Ten team. It was like, yeah, we want Malzahn gone. Hey, if you beat us, you're doing us a favor. And then they just absolutely wiped the field with us. And at the end, they're like,
Auburn just scored again, buddy.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, afterwards, like, oh yeah, we didn't think we're all that good this year. And it was like, shut up.
Yeah, it did. Wait, like, okay, maybe Malzahn needs fired because he has all this talent on the field. He only won 7 games.
Yeah,
yeah, that was unbelievable. That was just, the speed was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was a different game.
It was.
Yeah. I was at a client doing like an inventory, and I was like talking to a client. I came back to my computer for like, I don't know, I was gone for like less than 15 minutes. I was like, it's 21-0. Like, what did I miss?
Yep. It was 28-7 after the first quarter, and then the extra 28 points in the 28-0 in the second quarter really busted.
And there was a point where like, they may hang 100 on us.
They could have.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They could have.
That was bad.
Best seats I've ever had at a Purdue game. But
it's
awesome.
basketball season, guys.
It is. But
it has been basketball for the last 4 weeks. So
before we get there, back to Diaco. Who do you guys have some candidates you kind of want? I mean, I know we've seen some names thrown out there.
No, I'm so bad at coaching searches, like especially like.
There were a couple I liked just from like some names put out on Gold and Black. Was it Jackson, who went to Northern Illinois? Oh God,
coordinator, sure.
His Tampa 2 doesn't work anymore.
I'd be curious. I mean, like it'd have to be a different personality, but I'm kind of worried about like, okay, so Diaco was a head coach. He came in and I don't know. I mean, I think once you're a head coach, you kind of get that okay, this is my show.
Yeah.
And then you kind of deferring to the head coach. I don't know. I'm sure it's a different personality of being able to just take your role versus being in charge or having that experience as being in charge. So I'd be kind of worried about hiring. I've kind of switched because I kind of liked having, I was like, oh, Diaco was a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Was Levine a head coach at Houston before?
I think he was.
I thought Levine was the Houston head coach. I don't know if Biaggi had head coaching experience. I was kind of like, oh man, we've got a bunch of guys that have like some head coaching experience. It's great. And then now I'm kind of like, maybe that's not a good.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards someone younger, someone up and coming.
I like the Louisville D coordinator. He's 31.
Yeah, I like that. What I liked, I have no idea. I think I forget his first name. Jackson, Reggie Jackson sounds right.
Derek Jackson.
Reggie Jackson.
Used to be on our staff.
October, yeah. I liked him. Just because everybody says he's a great recruiter.
He was a good recruiter. The only thing that worries me is his I mean, I know it's Northern Illinois, it's MAC, but still his defenses were not great since he's been there. But
he's only been there 2 years.
Right. But there's the familiarity with the staff. I mean, the area. I mean, I'm sure he's recruited probably a lot of the guys on the roster right now.
He was a Brom hire, right?
Yeah.
Brom hired him in year 1.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like if Poindexter doesn't get the job, he's never going to be a DC, at least at Purdue.
What would you guys think about Poindexter?
Once again, makes sense. I don't know if it would get the fan base too fired up, but I think a lot of people would understand it.
I agree. I think it makes sense. I would be fine with it. Not like overly pleased, I guess. I kind of want something more.
Let me throw the one out that a lot of Purdue fans talk about. Brock's back.
No.
Oh, I thought they were going to say Marcus Freeman. Either
either one, not even in my. I would love it, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
He's going to be a head coach before. He's going to be Cincinnati's head coach when Fickell moves on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Spack, I have a tough time believing he would come back. It would be a pay raise.
Yes.
And he's been the head coach at Illinois State since 2009. He's done well there, but I don't know. But he is from, of course, West Lafayette. He played at Purdue. His wife's from Lafayette. I mean, there's a lot of connections, but I don't know. I just
the only way I could see that is if there's something with Babinski that says like, hey, if this doesn't work out, you're like the head coach in waiting, which I don't see that happening, and that's also kind of setting Brom up. I don't want that. Yeah. I don't think that's what it is, but that's the only way he would be semi-interested. I guess I didn't know he's from West Lafayette. I know he played at Purdue. He's been at Purdue a long time.
That's what I meant. Like his wife's family's from there and stuff. That's what I meant. I don't think he's originally from West Lafayette.
Oh, I didn't.
Purdue.
Okay.
So I there, but
didn't I hear he's like 3 wins away from like Illinois State's like all-time winning coach.
He's done really well. Good job there, but I don't know if he's ever going to get a D1 head coaching job. I mean, he's been a candidate for some jobs and it's never came about.
Didn't Iowa look at him for like a D coordinator position a few years ago?
Yep. I mean, it would be a neat story. You know, you kind of always like the nostalgia of the program, but I kind of want to say be careful what you wish for. That's 12 years ago when he was here, and
who knows?
His defenses were good, but they were starting to slip at the end. I don't know.
And you were saying if he's a good recruiter, is he a good recruiter now still?
Exactly. And
with the different.
I mean, just.
I honestly don't think he would come back. I think the only way he would is if it was like, hey, I want to do this for a couple more years and then just retire. Retire, go out as alma mater.
I think there'd have to be some relationship with Brom. I feel like already. It's not like it's Danny Hope as the head coach that he knows or has experience with. But it's like, hey, we're buddies and we had all this history. And versus Brom, I doubt they know each other or had any connection at all.
That's a good point. B Schmidt 9 saying, and if you say Brom's ego is huge, wouldn't Spack be kind of like Diaco being a head coach?
Yeah. I mean, he's been a head coach a hell of a lot longer than Diaco has. And,
I know it's interesting. I always kind of thought head coach as like, oh, they have that experience as a positive. Now I don't know.
This isn't a mustache staff either.
No, it's not.
Like it used to be. So I don't know. It's something we're definitely going to keep our eyes on here at the Boiler Breakdown. But
who's your number one? Who would you like to see? Who is like if outside of Marcus Freeman, because he's not happening.
I like the guy from Louisville, and I also like Tracy Clays.
Ooh, bar. I'd like the Dilly bar on the sideline. That's a good picture.
Would love him against Minnesota.
Yeah,
what's he been doing?
Defies Minnesota.
The only thing I know about him is that picture of him eating the Dilly bar in the snow.
He went to Washington State and was on Leach's staff, and then he resigned, I think, last year for some reason.
I don't know. They didn't play a whole lot of defense there.
No. But I thought he did good as the 1-year head coach up in Minnesota when they won 9 games, and they said he wasn't what they wanted and went and got boat boy. So
I just want someone as B. Schmidt, and we kind of had his comment up earlier, someone who's willing to rush more, is aggressive. I think I want someone young, up and coming, someone hungry. But yeah, I mean, I think what's attractive to the position is that, hey, because we have the open cornerbacks position with Greg Brown getting the door, it may be more attractive. Like, hey, you can come in and get, bring in one of your guys to fill a role on the staff. So it'd be interesting though.
So Diaco coached linebackers as well.
Yep.
So now do you think they need somebody who needs with some that experience of linebackers, coaching linebackers? So does that limit it, or now is it kind of open it up? Do you have somebody who's coached some safeties and corners, and then you go the opposite way, hire a linebackers coach?
Yeah, I can go either way, which is, I mean, it offers you some flexibility. But I assume whoever comes in, probably the criteria for the job is you have to be okay with coaching from the booth.
Yep, most likely.
Yeah.
We didn't talk much about Brown. Do you think Brown was leaving was more of, Brown was hired before Diaco.
Yeah, this was the second year at Purdue.
I don't think the corners or safeties really all improved or impressed me all that
I thought
much.
the corners were worse than the safeties this year. I thought his firing was coming. I was not surprised by that.
I mean, I was trying to think back like something positive corners did. And I just kept going back to Corey Trice last year.
Yep.
That's the only thing that corner really did.
It was just so, but how much of that was the play call, the coaching of just so soft? It's like give them like 8 yards.
Yeah.
And then like, oh, cool, they got a 7 yard. Like we held them to 7 yards, but they got 7 yards every single play.
I think this is it for the firings. I think Biaggi gets another year. I think that would have already been made.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I mean, I just think it would have been. I'm also surprised we haven't seen more in the transfer portal so far from Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to go back to the coaching. I know we talked about Poindexter as a potential D coordinator. Why do you think he gets a little bit of a pass? I feel like, I mean, he's co-defensive coordinator and he's been co-defensive coordinator for 4 years.
That's a good question.
I mean, I know he came with Brom in year 1, but I mean, I know not a little about him. I have no reason to think that he's bad or good really either way. Just kind of curious. It seems like he's kind of just the forgotten man when it comes to everybody hating on the coaching staff or players or anything like that. He's just
it's always the defense that's getting shaken up in terms of the staff. You don't really see much of I don't think we've seen any offensive staff. I mean, aside from maybe a tight ends coach changing.
Yeah, we had quickly last year.
Yeah, that's about it. But yeah,
Tomersall, what was his name? Or
he's at Texas Tech now.
Yeah. Tomersall or something like that.
Yeah, now Wallace is the young tight end coach, Ryan Wallace. So because Shepard's still a wide receiver, Barkley running back, Williams is offensive line, and you got Brian Brom as the
quarterback
coordinator or quarterback / co-offense coordinator, and then Jeff calls the plays. Mm-hmm. So maybe that'll switch though. Maybe Brian gets called plays after he did not get the Kentucky offensive coordinator job that he interviewed for. So.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Just give it a shot. I mean, see if it works. I mean,
you can always pull back if it doesn't work.
Yeah, but I have a hard time believing that's going to happen, but you never know. It'll have a come to Jesus moment.
Well, let's put a bow on this 2020 football season. Never speak of it again.
Said about 2019 too.
Yes. Got one question here from B-Schmidt9. Did you feel the offense took a step back this year? Felt the line was better at creating holes?
You think the offense took a step back, Webby?
I think so. I mean, okay. Well,
not from last year.
Not from last year, which last year, yeah, you can attribute to injuries. My biggest thing is it was just so boring to watch. I mean, Horvath was phenomenal, way better than I expected him to be. I was really disappointed we didn't really see the Rondale that we were used to seeing. You had David. I mean, yes, I think we obviously put up more points, but I mean, I guess I take a step back in the fact that I just didn't enjoy watching the offense go to work. I'm sick of the quarterback sneaks on 3rd and 1. It just felt very vanilla.
Yeah, I think we all maybe had too high expectations going in as far as the offense was how explosive they were going to be. We were going to use all these different wide receivers, yada, yada, yada. Didn't really happen that way.
No.
I did think the offense scored enough points most games to win.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but that's a good question.
I don't know. I think the offense, it wasn't like phenomenal, but I think it was fine. Like they scored enough. I don't know if it was a step back. I think it was just a solid. I think the offense was solid. It wasn't like spectacular. It wasn't bad. I think it was solid.
It would just be nice to find a quarterback to play the whole season.
I don't know what's wrong with Jack. I don't know. Jack and Aiden. I mean, Aiden got hurt, but like neither one of them were terrible. Neither one of them were good.
I know that's the problem. I don't know if either of them are the guy. That's the thing. Like I think they're both like. Part of me is hoping Alimo kills in the offseason, just give him the job and let him go.
I don't know. Jack was only a redshirt sophomore, so I mean,
I know.
Still got 2 more years.
But I don't know. He played great against Minnesota. Then after that, I thought he kind of regressed. But same thing. Aiden had a good game against Iowa, and then
his ball.
Maybe Illinois. Then kind of
there is just a clear difference in like the zip on the passes from O'Connell to Plummer.
Yep.
And Plummer's so much quicker, moving in the pocket. Yeah.
It'll be interesting next year because I think quarterback's going to be a big discussion. But for 2020, who is your team MVP for Purdue?
Overall, offense and defense?
Yep, for overall, you get one player for the team for the season.
I'm gonna say DeMarcus Mitchell.
That's who I was thinking. If it wasn't Bell, I could see Bell. I could see Horvath as well. I don't know. Horvath had what 4? I like Derek Barnes a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was torn between Mitchell or Barnes, and I just
Mitchell got hurt, but
I think we saw a defense even a bigger step back when Mitchell got hurt, even more so. I mean, even more so when Karlaftis got hurt / got COVID, the defense just completely fell apart.
But then again, I think David Bell won us like the 2 games. Iowa and Illinois, so especially Illinois, he won the Illinois game.
That's why I go MVP's David Bell, because he was an animal against Iowa, and then if he doesn't make that one-handed catch against Illinois, we're probably looking at overtime, if not losing. So I think that was the play of the year too, was his one-handed catch against Iowa. But okay, so that was MVP. Who's your offensive player then?
David Bell, but Horvath is 1B. If David Bell is 1A, I mean, you have to give it to Bell just because Bell was phenomenal. And like you said, he won us those 2 games.
He was the number 2, second team in the coaches. Two Ohio State wide receivers made first team.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Just give him a chip on his shoulder for his junior year. Redshirt sophomore year. Sorry.
But I think you have to give it to Bell. But Horvath was.
He's an animal.
I would say most improved. Horvath.
Yeah.
I mean, he picked up right where he left off from that bucket game last year.
That one game. I mean,
I thought
How many hurdles?
We'll have to do an over/under for next year. How many he has?
Yeah.
I think going into the year. Obviously, I can't remember when we did our preview if we knew Drew was hurt or not.
I don't think we knew until the Friday before the game.
I would have thought it was. It would have been like 65-35 Drew Horvath carries, and give Horvath on 3rd and 1, on short yardage to gain, but. He was just an absolute beast.
And those first 3 games, like when Drew was hurt, nobody else touched the ball. Like Hewitt didn't get like a single carry.
Yeah.
Murphy didn't get a single carry. No. I mean, he had some other issues, but But I was stunned that Hewitt. Nobody. It was like the first 2 games. Definitely, it was like 20 carries or something. It was all Horvath, and I
think that's why we saw some of those running backs opt out. It's just my speculation. I could be wrong, but
just not playing time.
Portal yet. So.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah. You think about it. They're tested 5 days a week, 6 days a week, and they're quarantining. So I get that. If you're not going to play, I get it's a stressful year.
All the Big Ten teams, for the most part, are declining bowl bids because the kids are just tired of playing. They're tired of being tested. They want to go home. I get it. Defensive MVP.
Barnes or Mitchell. And I said Mitchell for my team MVP, so I'll go Mitchell again. But
I would say Mitchell, but I think Barnes. Mitchell definitely started the year. Mitchell started the year really strong, and then Barnes finished the year really strong.
Yep.
So I don't know if Mitchell was nicked up at the end of the year. He kind of seemed like he blended a little more than he did at the beginning. But Barnes was really strong. So I'm torn. I guess Barnes, just because he was an animal the last 3 games and he was hitting hard. And
I'm gonna go Barnes and then Mitchell, and then actually the third guy. I thought Cam Allen had a pretty good year.
Yep, I'm a big Cam Allen fan.
Yep, me too. So and it was too bad we only got to see George like a game and a half. When he get done, but
I get to see both. Get to see George and Yanni next year.
Yep. The 2021 class is signed on the dotted line now. Purdue. The 14th ranked, the worst ranked Big Ten class by the experts, but it was a small class.
I did see that. I thought I saw them 13th ahead of Illinois. I think it was Illinois.
Yeah.
On 247, I think they were 13th after Yanni signed.
Small class. I was fine with it.
And we'll probably get some transfers in. I think that's what Brahmi mentioned, because they wanted to leave some room. For one, we don't have a lot of seniors. That's one thing, and you don't know who all comes back.
Who do you think comes back? So there's not many. So Barnes is gone. Grant Herman's gone.
Those are the 2 that you'd want back if you had any ones. But I think Anthrop is back.
I think that's your only one.
Greg Long.
I hope Greg Long.
I forgot about him.
I would think those are the 2. Those are the 2 that I think are back.
It would be nice to have back.
Is Anthony Watts a senior? I thought he was.
So. I think so.
I thought he was. He'd be one that I would hope would come back.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to kind of ease that blow of Lorenzo Neal.
Yeah.
Tackle.
I want Anther back for a leadership standpoint.
Mm-hmm. He'd be a captain for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see many coming back. I think just, either guys just ready to test NFL waters or just stop football.
Plus, this is different coach that they weren't recruited by.
True.
Now if they're on the defense, it's their third defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
How many of them are just ready to go on?
Yeah, you don't know if you're gonna have a normal off season again. So it's like, man, do I really want to go through, that experience again?
But I suppose if they're having trouble finding a job, because it's probably not the easiest environment to find a job in right now either. They're like, well, I can come back and college one more year. Hopefully, at least it's a full year where I can get 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's also, Purdue's got to work with them. The coaching staff has to work with them and make sure that they have scholarships for them, and if they want them, and which is it's going to get so awkward.
Well, the next 4 years is going to be wild.
Yeah, it's going to
finally equal out again. It's going to be a headache.
Like what if someone walks into, I don't know, JD Dellinger, right? He's a kicker. He's a senior.
Yeah, he said he's not coming back.
Yeah. But say, I don't know, Purdue, I don't know who's a kicker is going to be next year, but say he walks. Yeah.
What?
It could be his little brother. He's a walk on the team. I don't know.
But okay, there you go. Say he walks into Brahms' office and says, I want to come back, and Brahms like, nah, we want your brother.
That'd be bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's burn all the tape and the memories from this year. And
what was what was your most frustrating? Because there's a lot of them. What was the most frustrating play of the year? Is it the Minnesota? Is it the Minnesota pass interference, or
it's the most frustrating play and moment?
Yeah. I guess let's say
that's the whole freaking Nebraska game.
Yeah, not an official call, but an actual a play that the players essentially caused.
Mackey's late hit against Nebraska on the sideline when it was going to be 3rd and 21 or something.
Yeah.
That's the only one I could stick out right now. That's what the hell was that?
That one in the busted coverage against Rutgers. That one was that kind of helped them come back.
The kick return. Yeah,
not the kick return. Because we were still winning after the kick return, but it was I guess the other play.
Yeah, but it was it was an 11-point game, and then all of a sudden, crap, never mind, it's a 4-point game again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really the only positive plays I'm going to remember is Bell's one-handed catch against Illinois.
That Iowa game seems so long ago.
First hurdle against Iowa.
I don't remember anything from that Iowa game, but it was looking back on it, what a great win! Iowa, you're so good.
Fantastic win.
Who the hell was Purdue to beat Iowa 2 months ago?
Yeah, that was an unbelievable gift that the scheduling committee gave us for week 1. Yeah. So we still own Iowa. We own Ferentz. Remember that next year when we got to go to Kinnick. We'll of course talk when the defensive coordinator decision happens. But besides that, we'll probably just be talking basketball for the foreseeable future until next season rolls around. Hopefully everything stays the same and Oregon State comes into West Lafayette to kick off the year next year.
So we got who's our non-conference? We got Oregon State. We got Notre Dame back on the schedule.
UConn at Notre Dame.
Yep.
In that order. And really, the schedule, I hate to get ahead of myself. Notre Dame is going to be really tough, and Oregon State won't be cakewalk, but also the other two, I think it's at Illinois and it's Illinois home and Minnesota home, not at Illinois.
And our cross division games are Michigan State, at Ohio State, and Indiana, which we don't know where that Indiana game will be now, because if it was supposed to be at Indiana this year,
I think it should be back at Ross State because we got screwed years ago and had to play twice in Bloomington.
Yeah.
So,
Rondell Moore is going to come back as the honorary captain for that Ohio State game, and Purdue rolls.
Honorary captain at Ohio State. We're going to somehow make it happen.
Yeah. He's going to be in the locker room. He's going to do the coin toss just to give some more nightmares.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be a tough schedule next year, no doubt. But we'll worry about that when time comes. So excited about football, and it just did not go according to plan.
No. Yeah. So I was talking with my dad I think it was this morning, and he sent me a picture. It was a Facebook memory of me graduating 5 years ago, and it got me really nostalgic. I was like, man, I really miss Purdue. I also really miss Mad Mush. So the Boiler Breakdown is sponsored by Mad Mushroom, serving Boilermakers since 1993. Mad Mush is located in the heart of West Lafayette, and is well known as the home of the original cheese stick. It is my favorite thing to get there. I know, Tanner, you and I indulged in cheese sticks on more than one occasion.
Bank account was pretty low.
But whenever I like to visit, I like to sit down, have an ice cold beer while trying one of their latest pizza, or trying their latest pizza of the month. Next time you're in town, stop in and tell them Boiler Breakdown sent you for $5 off any order over $20. I believe is the pizza of the month still the fixins this month. Yep. So the fixins, you got mashed potatoes, turkey, ham, corn, chives, and cheddar cheese. Definitely in the spirit of the holiday season. And if you're Boiler Breakdown listener, you can also use the coupon code BREAK5, that's all caps BREAK, the number 5, to claim your discount online at madmushroom.com. Mad Mushroom, feed your head.
Good job, Webby.
Thank you. I practiced that a couple times.
I like the segue. That was beautiful. Andrew and I thought we didn't know what was going on there. So
I thought you were totally missed today.
Yep.
You're just like, Webby's on a tangent. We're like, oh boy.
Here he goes. I thought he was really getting nostalgia about something. I didn't know, like, he was going to say, I miss Purdue, but then when football things like this happen, I just, okay.
Oh, gosh.
I'm what they call a professional, so.
That was impressive. That's a good read there.
Yeah.
Basketball, fun week for the Boilers last week. I think we were all hoping for a split.
That was the thing. Best case scenario was a
split.
Yeah,
man, I was so nervous like that Sunday before when it was like, God, the bucket game was scheduled for Friday. The Purdue Notre Dame game was Saturday afternoon, and then Clemson Notre Dame Saturday afternoon. I'm like, oh God, this could be a bad weekend.
I also had the Bronco game Saturday, so I was relieved when I saw the bucket for the moment on Friday. I'm like, thank God I can't take games on Saturday. But yeah, it was that Ohio State game. With number 20 Buckeyes came in. They were short a couple guys, but Boilers were favored by 4, which surprised all of us, I think.
Yeah.
We just played good.
And I think it ended up like 6.5. Like it's open at 4. I think it closed at like 6.5.
It was the Travion Williams show passing. He pulled out Jason Williams, man.
He was on triple-double watch, wasn't he?
He was close.
Rob Blackman said his passes were very Larry Bird-esque. So.
All right.
Yeah, and then I think Brian Newbert was like, oh, the Magic Johnson, it just came easy to him that night. He just needs to keep it that way and not force it.
I was hoping they would keep doubling him all night, because when they slid that double team over, he found the open man. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I think they stopped doubling him in the second half, but
because he was shredding it with
which it was fun. I know we talked about this after the game, but Boiler alum Robbie Hummel was on Big Ten Network, and he was just tearing into Ohio State about how easy.
Oh, that was so funny. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who else played good off the top of my head that night.
Sasha. I think Sasha was hit some threes. He's been hitting everything.
Oh, he hits everything, Mackey.
Sasha was 2 of 7 from 3. Actually,
good game.
Hunter played well. He had 15.
Ivy didn't score a lot, but he had a nice kind of Euro step after into the lane, which just kind of gives you a little glimpse of his ability. He
is something, guys. I know we haven't seen it fully yet, but I don't know if I've seen anything kind of like him at Purdue.
He is so aggressive, and he's so long.
A hot shooter. He could blow by when he needs to, but I know a lot of people want to compare Ivy a little bit to Eton Moore, but Eton was smooth. Ivy, I don't know.
I think he's zipping more Carson.
That's what I say. He's like Carson,
but he's just bigger.
But like 4 inches taller.
Yeah, Carson was a freaking bowling ball in terms of he was just, he was shorter, but he was just
tree trunks.
Yeah, so he could bowl his way in, but I think Ivy, he's taller. He'll get. Obviously, after a couple years in the weight room, he'll get there. Maybe not as big as Carson, but he's going to have that bigger body, which should be able to have him be able to get by some defenders. But he's a baller.
He's just slippery. Like he can just slide. He's just like past you like that. He's so quick.
Mentality.
Oh, I love it. He just adds that other element that Purdue has kind of missed as a guy who can get to the basket whenever he wants, essentially. I mean, he may be kind of out of control, so he'll kind of figure that out as he gets back into it and as he gets a little older, more experienced. But, I mean, right now he's just exciting. It's awesome.
I really like these redshirt freshman guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's another guy. Newman had 10 and 7 rebounds against Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Gillis has mixed himself, I think, into the starting lineup for sure. At that point. Yeah, he's a bulldog. I mean, I've heard some. I think even Golden Black, they're talking about him as very much like a Grady Eifert role. I mean, but he could be
higher ceiling probably than Grady.
Higher ceiling, but I mean, we won a lot of games with Grady Eifert doing what he did.
I mean, how many shots has he hit in a row now?
He shot 100% this last week.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's like. I think they said against Notre Dame he's hit his last 8 shots or something.
Yeah, I mean he's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, he went 3 for 3 against Ohio State, and then he was 4 for 4.
Yeah, he looks like a guy like to the eye that can't shoot threes, but he can.
Yeah,
he banged in 2 against Notre Dame. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, again, kind of like Grady, he just does the little things. High energy guy, I think, and high IQ, and we're lucky to have him. That's for sure.
You talk about Newman on defense. I mean, against Ohio State, I just loved him. Even trailing the screen. I mean, he was flying. There were numerous times where he was getting picked at the elbow, and he flew around the corner and stuck with this man where it's you can clear the effort. I mean, he just wanted it, and it was awesome. I don't know.
Yeah,
he is the Boiler Breakdown's favorite GIF, the Newman GIF. Yeah. I love it. I have to use it. There's so many varieties of it. I love it.
He's gonna be. I think he's gonna be a favorite.
I just can't wait until
over the last 4 years. Next 4 years.
Actually have. I'm not sure if they're doing it now because there's no fan. I mean, I guess there's some fans, but when you go to a game at Mackey, they after a play they'll have little GIFs on some of the smaller screens. So they're gonna use that.
If they don't, they're missing the mark.
Well, I wonder what the trademarks are for the show. Who owns it? What it's worth to pay?
If there are trademarks, they own a lot of them because they're paying a lot because they use. I mean, with all the videos they show before. I mean, that dance montage they show before the second half, it's got so many.
True. That's very true.
I don't know. I can't imagine
know what the rules are. I'm sure they're a little more lenient. I don't know.
It's not just for being promotional
material. They're a compliance department for a reason. So,
anybody's watching the compliance department.
Yeah,
I'd be DMs. Let us know.
I'd be very curious to know.
Yeah.
Edie, up and down week. I mean, he's a freshman. It's Big Ten play now, so the refs still don't know how to officiate.
Oh my gosh,
which is baffling, especially some of these guys who are around for the costs.
It's not good.
That flagrant and Notre Dame game, was that Notre Dame? Yeah, at the end of the first half. That was so bad.
I don't know what he can do unless he always at all times has his hands up here. I don't.
How do you catch the ball? You catch the ball and you have your elbows are out. He can't catch the ball. It's
yeah. So you catch the ball, your elbows are at the guy who's 6'8", they're at his head. So if he goes to make a basketball move.
No, not 6'8". I'm pretty sure the guy hitting the head was 6'11". He's just 6 inches taller than him.
They know how to sell it. They know how to flop.
It was a little bit of a flop.
I mean, you saw it in I can't remember if it was. I think it was at NESA and Jake LaRavia. He got bumped a little bit and he just flew to the ground. I mean, he knew what to do. And I mean, it is. Yeah, they know how to sell it. I mean, it's just frustrating that a guy that big. I know I didn't watch the game, but reacting to one of our friends who's an Illini fan, they used to complain about Kofi Coburn getting hacked and have a foul on someone else isn't a foul on him because he's so big. It's kind of the same thing with Edie. It's
Isaac Haas had this for 4 years.
Yeah, that's what's just so baffling me. It's you had 4 years of tape on how to officiate an absolute behemoth. Use this in training. Because it's kind of our thing now. We're going to have a larger than life human being in our roster, so get used to it.
I would rather. I'd rather him be aggressive, over aggressive.
Yeah,
he's not. I don't think he's not being dangerously aggressive by any means, but he's not timid. And I'd rather him be aggressive. I mean, same thing Newman, Ivy. I'd rather than play aggressive. I mean, Newman, I think against Ohio State had a fast break where I think he took a charge where he was too aggressive, and I was I'd rather it be that. I mean, especially as a freshman or redshirt freshman. whatever. I mean, play aggressive and make the mistakes that way versus being timid and throwing the ball away. Like, okay, take a charge every now and then, learn from it, but be aggressive.
I agree.
I love Edey dunking the ball all the time when he was leading the nation in dunks for like 3 games. It's like, yeah, just go hammer it. Like, be aggressive and hammer it home.
So we got off on the right foot in Big Ten play. We're 1-0 in Big Ten play now, and then we beat Notre Dame on Saturday. One in the Crossroads. This was the 10th Crossroads, so now we are 3-7 in the Crossroads. We're 2-3 against Notre Dame, 1-4 against Butler. In that, I thought that was the best offensive performance Purdue's put together this year to date.
Mm-hmm.
Minus the last 4 minutes of the first half. Yeah, they played really good.
It's 2020 when they shoot well in Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Yeah,
never happens.
Yeah, no. True.
But in Andrew and Evan, you probably know too. But isn't this the last year of the contract wise for them?
I thought it was, but everybody keeps saying 2021, but this might be the last year. So it's like, who's gonna put the nail in the coffin? I don't understand it. I just don't get it because I thought this was the last year, but then I think I read like the Indy Star and maybe even another article where it said, 2021 is the last year, but this might be, I don't know, this might be the end of it. Which I don't understand how that works, but.
I had heard. I thought this was the last year.
It makes sense because 10 years. I mean, it makes sense.
I was fairly confident this was the last year, and then I read an article on Thursday that read the second to last year of the contract, and I was like, "Where did that come from?" Same thing. I was like, I feel pretty good that this was the last year of the contract, and maybe there's an option for next year.
You know what I
was going to pull out because
this is the end of it. I would love if they could somehow work out a deal with the Gavitt games and the ACC Big Ten Challenge to play Notre Dame once every 4 years, to play Butler once every 4 years or something. Mm-hmm. That would be okay by me.
I'd love to do a home and home too. That's the
those
thing.
Those would be great. I don't, for some reason, see them agreeing to that. I don't know why. Just because they never have, I guess. But you got to start somewhere.
It's a fun event. I wouldn't mind them expanding it, keeping it Butler, Purdue, Notre Dame, IU, and add Valparaiso, add Evansville, add Ball State, Indiana State. I don't know. Just keep the Indiana, or even add Xavier, Cincinnati, add somebody, add Louisville, or just to make it kind of a fun weekend. I mean, down in Indy, when a normal year, it's a cool day of just basketball. I mean, the first game was 11:30. Purdue Notre Dame was 2:30, and honestly, the Butler IU game was done at 1:30.
Frederick Day, you had the Big Ten football championship just down the street.
Yeah,
starting at noon, that was weird in itself. But usually, it's pretty cool when it's at night. But
yeah, it's a fun day. It's cool. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a cool event just because it showcases Indiana basketball, and
you always hear people, these commentators saying that every state needs to do this, because especially if you've got a lot of good Power 5 schools, or it's not Power 5 in basketball, but high level teams. Ohio could do some pretty cool things with Xavier, Cincy, Ohio State,
Dayton.
That could be cool. Illinois, you've got some teams.
Northwestern, Illinois. But then there's some of those Big Ten schools like Illinois, Northwestern.
Yeah, you can play each other just like Indiana and Purdue.
Except
Michigan,
that one year in the Dome, which was crap.
I remember
that one. Yeah.
It was crap.
Yeah.
But, before this Crossroads, there was always the wooden tradition, which Purdue would be in it, and then there would be a matchup of 1 year it was Ohio State Xavier.
Isn't that where we played?
We played Davidson. We played Louisville.
Davidson.
We played
one Valpo. Year. I went to a Valpo game at Bankers Life there. There's Purdue Valpo, I think, at the Wooden.
I'm trying to think who the heck. 1 year, it was the year we beat Louisville. For whatever reason, the other game was Southern Illinois and Florida State. It was something because my dad had a suite through a rep at the time, and there was a Southern Illinois fan in the suite. It was just weird. It's what in the world?
Was that back when Painter was a coach, or?
Yeah, it was when we beat that really good Louisville team with the Baby Boilers, and then we returned home and lost to Wofford the next week.
Fun. Remember that one.
So I don't know what it'll do.
What would you think about UCLA and play up the Wooden connection between UCLA and Purdue?
Sure. I'm up for it.
That'd be cool.
I do know Chris Foreman mentioned we're in some really big other tournaments here in the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Next year we're in one with North Carolina, Villanova, and I don't remember. Yeah, it's a big one. And then I believe
no ACC
after that, we're in something out in like Portland, Oregon, some Nike.
Oh, the Phil Knight, the PK80.
Yeah. There's going to be a lot of big boys out there. So we're going to be in
Butler was in that last year, weren't they, Andrew, or the year before?
A couple years ago.
So we're going to be in some big boy tournaments, which I'm all for. I've never seen us play UNC. That'd be cool. So we'll see. I hope they figure something out, though. I mean, I hate the damn thing that we're 3-7, but it was nice to know we were going to play a decent opponent every year in it. So,
and it's just a cool event for the state.
Yeah. Also, what I hate, 70% of the crowd at least is against Purdue.
But see, that was also part of it. Was that typically IU lost as well? So
they had the best record.
Both wins
after on Saturday, they officially had the best record. So
it didn't seem like it.
I know it didn't.
I don't think they ever lost back-to-back years in it.
Well, Archie never lost in it too.
Well, it's because it's Notre Dame. I mean, Butler did their part. Notre Dame could never beat IU.
Yeah.
Did Notre Dame actually ever beat IU?
I don't think so. Yeah, because
I don't think Notre Dame only beat Purdue.
I think both teams were 6-3 going into Saturday, and it was like whoever wins that has the best record in the Crossroads. And
I feel like Butler never. Yeah, Butler did Purdue beat Butler once?
Once.
Yeah.
2017. Yep. Interesting. We will see about that, but it was a good win indeed for the Boilers. Eric Hunter Jr. was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Trey was awesome. Sasha was awesome.
The big thing with Hunter was 0 turnovers.
Yep. And he shut down Notre Dame's leading scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was they were talking about that, like, oh yeah, Prentice Hub, right? That's his name, Prentice Hub.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, when Notre Dame gets a normal offensive game from Prentice Hub, and it's like, well, okay, a normal offensive game, like
he wasn't shooting, he didn't get any good looks.
I mean, he was like 0 for 7 or something. Yeah, 0 for 7. So he took some shots.
Eric wasn't making it easy on him, I should say.
No, exactly. But they were making it sound like he's just having a bad game. But it's like, like they weren't giving any credit to Purdue's defense. And I was like, Purdue's kind of focusing on him, so like letting anybody else beat him. And I will say they got a ton of open threes.
Oh, and I was telling Webby before we started recording, they remind me of Iowa without Garza.
Oh my God.
Deep.
I don't like their first like 12 shots were threes. Yep. It seemed like I think I texted you guys like 5 minutes into the game. I'm like, they're going to shoot like 50 threes.
I think they're better than the record indicates. I mean, they've beat Kentucky in a close one, but they lost to Duke, but they played them close. They lost to, now I'm blanking.
Hold on, I got them up.
Yeah, they lost to some good opponents. Why am I blanking?
They lost to Michigan State by 10. They beat Detroit, lost to Ohio State by 5.
There we go.
Beat Kentucky, lost to Duke, and then Purdue.
So they played a gauntlet pretty much so far this year.
Yeah. I mean, their 2 wins, Detroit and Kentucky, but losses to number 13, Michigan State, at Michigan State at the time, and then, number 22, Ohio State, and then 21, Duke.
Yep.
And number something receiving votes, Purdue.
But a big week for the Boilers this week, starting off tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, a late one, up in Iowa City against Iowa. Yeah, it starts the Big Ten gauntlet, really. The team Purdue did really well against last year, killed them at Mackey, upset them up at Iowa City. But we have no Boudreaux to help us this year. Iowa killer. Yeah. Got to think Iowa's going to be out for revenge. They lost a toughie to number 1 Gonzaga over the weekend. Garza's got to get his. The fortunate thing about it, it's the same Iowa team back, including an addition of Bohannon, in addition of a younger McCaffrey. So it's going to be a tough one. I'm not expecting to win. I just want our guys to compete and play hard. And
I think the key is going to be. I think kind of what we did last year is we're not going to stop Garza. I mean, I just hope Trey and Edie don't get in foul trouble early on.
Every game.
Yeah, but I think if we have what we did against Notre Dame, where they had a lot of open threes, they will bury us. So hopefully we kind of key in on not leaving shooters open. Like last couple times we played Iowa, we shot the ball really well. So hopefully that streak continues. I mean, their defense sucks too. So hopefully we're gonna have some open shots. So
only time we see the Hawkeyes this year, unless we see them in the Big Ten tournament. So get them out of the way early.
We got Iowa. We've got home against Maryland. We've got Rutgers and Illinois. Is that the?
Yeah, and those two are on the road.
Yeah, I think if you can split the next four, that is like
sign me right now.
Unbelievable.
Right now.
You have to get Maryland at home. It's like the only one that's like a must.
And then if you can steal one of the three on the road, that'd be. If you lose all three, it's honestly not like a bad thing. I mean, what's Illinois ranked right now? Like 5, 4? Iowa.
Before they lost
Iowa
game yesterday.
Sorry,
but Illinois is not going to lose too many more games.
No.
Rutgers nails. They're
like 13 right now, right?
Tough.
Like
because not only Leo's good, freaking Harper Jr. is a good pro. He's developed up this game. So you got to, like what we said on Christmas. Yeah, we get some Christmas Boiler basketball at 2:30. Is that 2:30? 2:30.
I think you're right. Early up, yeah.
So we go going head to head with NBA and the NFL. I think the NFL game's later, the Saints game, but should be fun. Hopefully we can get the Terrapins, and then, like I said, I'd be fine with a split this week, and then take on the really tough challenges next week.
I've got the line. It's Iowa by 8.
I thought it'd be about 10, so a little lower than I expected.
And then you got Wisconsin, Nebraska. Wisconsin by 17.5.
No, Wisconsin will kill them. Yeah. Wisconsin looked awesome the other day against Louisville. I know Louisville's missing one player, but they won by 38.
They were up by 40. Yeah,
it did. Yeah, Wisconsin. I know some of our friends, and maybe we even have on here bashed them a little bit, but I think they're pretty good. Pretty good. The Big Ten has either 10 or 11 teams at least received votes this week out of 14.
I think what they said, 11 Big Ten teams in like the top 40 for like the 25 and the 15 receiving votes. Yeah.
That is dumb.
Ridiculously deep. I mean, this Big Ten is going to be a joke.
Of like it already is. Northwestern over Michigan State.
Yeah. By what was it, like 14? Like what they won by, or 8? I think they won by 8, but yeah.
Big Ten champion, how many losses are they going to have?
How many games are they playing? Are they 20? Or 20 in conference games?
Assuming you play all of them. Which that's
5. I think 5.
I think it's going to be, I think someone, who was it? I don't remember, but someone said, it might have been Hummel, said the champion is going to have 7 losses. Could have 7 losses. Like, that's a lot of losses.
God, you have so many teams between that, like 13 and 9 wins or something. Yeah. Just like a big cluster at the end.
I think it was Hummel. I think I didn't hear him say it, but I want to say someone, either I saw on the message board or someone said that he thinks the Big Ten Championship could have 7 losses in conference.
It's going to be intriguing to watch.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So before we wrap things up, I better mention that Webb's Family Pharmacy is another sponsor of the Boiler Breakdown podcast. Webb's Family Pharmacy is an independently owned community pharmacy with stores located in Rochester, Akron, and North Manchester, Indiana. Webb's is happy to announce that they are providing flu shots by appointment right in your car. Simply call to set up an appointment, and their friendly and caring staff will be happy to help you. For all of your high-quality medical equipment, supplies, and pharmacy services, check out www.webrx.com or give them a call. Webb's Family Pharmacy, the professional pharmacy with a hometown touch. Yeah. Any final thoughts, I guess, going into the games this week?
It's just nice to have. I mean, essentially, we've got the entire roster now available for basketball with Hunter now being full. I mean, he's a full go, and then even obviously Ivy's back now, and then even DeWone has been practicing. Which, I mean, it'd just be nice to have once he kind of gets up to speed, just have something.
5 more fouls.
Exactly. It would be nice to have him in Miami.
Yeah. Which is it's a bummer for him being able to play that game, but it's kind of where he came from, at least in high school wise. It's just kind of, I mean, I definitely look at the Miami game as a growing experience, obviously, especially for the junior class, of just kind of like, something that needs to happen after that half. But it's like, man, if we just didn't absolutely crap the bed in that, and maybe we had Ivy and or Jaden, or Ivy and or Hunter for the Clemson games, like we could be undefeated right now. Like I keep trying to not think about that because it just makes me mad. I shouldn't be getting mad at this point.
I know. But I think this young team is getting better. they're growing up in front of our eyes already. And it's just really exciting time to be a Purdue basketball fan with a future looking so bright.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. It's definitely going to be fun to watch these young guys. But another kind of fun thing, we got one more partner we want to thank from the Boiler Breakdown. The Boiler Breakdown brought to you by Schroff Landscaping. Schroff Landscaping has been in the business for over 50 years and can handle all of your landscaping needs, including landscape design, maintenance, irrigation, hardscaping, fall cleanup, and they are licensed lawn applicators. Contact them today for all of your landscaping needs at 574-223-2769. Schroff Landscaping, design with you in mind.
Dang, you guys are pros. Putting me out of business here.
And damn it, Butler did not win. It was a 3-point game. I heard my wife downstairs yelling with like 6 seconds left, and I was like, it's 3 points. Maybe I'm behind. And then it said game over, and I don't know what's going on. Maybe
the Salukis
right now.
Matt Painter's
Matt Painter,
old place, and Bruce Weber's old place.
Oh God, Butler's so bad. What a great win by IU! Great win by IU to beat Butler without Butler's best player. That was a hell of a win.
Talking up, Greg Doyle, great win.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God.
Well, I saw something that I think he called Franklin like one of the most improved players
in the country.
And I think someone called him. It might have even been Doyle. I don't know. Which I like Greg Doyle for the most part.
He hasn't seen another basketball team play in 3 years.
Yeah, someone called Franklin like a sharpshooter, and I was like, okay, he's definitely improved. Yeah, he's improved for sure. I think he's really improved his 3-point shooting. But it's like I'm not calling
it anywhere. Brandon Newman any day.
Yeah, took him in the same recruiting class, so yeah, for sure.
Yep,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll.
Let's just see what Armand Franklin's shooting right now. I'm just curious.
Because I'd like to see him do that against a Big Ten defense.
Yep.
So.
And he will. He'll get plenty of opportunities to show
okay. He's shooting 46% from 3, so he's pretty good.
All right.
Yeah.
So far.
For now, yeah.
I saw
someone.
They play Northwestern and Illinois this week, so.
Let's see how Northwestern responds after that. After Northwestern, see how they respond after that. I wasn't even paying attention to that game until you texted our group chat, Tanner, and I was like, holy crap.
Halftime score, I knew what was going on. I'm like, what? I'm like, and then I'm like, this happens all the time. Michigan State's going to come back and win.
Yeah.
And I checked the score of the game. I'm like,
it's with a weird year. It's typical for Michigan State to drop a game like this at this point in the season. It's just usually not to a Big Ten team because usually they've figured it out by January or late December when they've played probably 10 games or roughly up to 10 games. But yeah, I still expect them. I would even when I think about like teams in the Big Ten or in the mix for the Big Ten championship. I keep thinking Iowa, Illinois. Obviously we throw in Wisconsin just because of last year, but I keep forgetting Michigan State because it's Michigan State. They're going to be there.
Rutgers.
Yeah, right, and Rutgers too. That top 5 is.
And there's no home court advantage really with the fans.
Nope.
So
yeah,
it's literally who is the best.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be fun to watch. But something else has been fun has been this podcast for 2020, even though 2020 has been the worst year. I think we can all agree on that. But we appreciate all of the viewers and the listeners of the Boiler Breakdown for sticking with us through good majority of the basketball season and then into this weird football season and then even in the off season. So we appreciate it. We hope you all have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. If you're able to celebrate with your family, please do so safely. We wish everybody safe. Happy holidays. But we'll be back before New Year's. We'll be back next week. Probably have another guest on the show and we do a little trivia episode. Thought that'd be a fun way to wrap up the year going into the new year for the Boiler Breakdown podcast. But happy holidays, everybody. And let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Hawkeyes and the Terrapins.
Boiler up.